Well, there we are. Doing something right. Oh, that's not right. I can fix that at least. Got it there. Camera. And make sure that worked right. Yes, we are streaming the correct thing. The actual view of the camera, not from my perspective. Perfect. Well, we're somewhere. Sorry I'm a few moments late. I was trying to make sure everything looked right before I went live. Hopefully, audio's coming out. Yep, I'm hearing my audio when I turn that on. I do not want to hear myself reverberating. Hello, Fua! Welcome to me being a dork online. Oh, it is going lovely. How are you, the pretty pink one? Grab the thing. Hello, Wild. Welcome also to the party. There, get that up out of my way. And that's back up. Yay! I'm vibing, just waiting for my pizza. Pizza. I miss pizza. Pizza is one of those foods that I really loved and still do. And it does not love me back. Ugh. The lovely pain of a spiked ball in my tummy all evening, and yeah, unfortunately, that had to leave me. That's not part of my life anymore. Stupid milk. Well, anyway, welcome to the chaos. If you miss anything, or if you have to leave at any point and you want to watch whatever happened, or whatever I've talked about, this will get rebroadcast on my YouTube channel on Wednesday night, along with, I'm pretty sure Steam still puts up the recording within like a day at worst, so if you want to watch it here on Twitch, you can watch it on Twitch. So, yay! You have options. At any point, if anyone wants to interrupt me with something they want to talk about, questions, concerns, comments, things that we should just talk about, please interrupt me. I don't mind. I'm here to be entertaining. And that does not necessarily mean I have to be whatever it is I want to be. And I've added a couple new things to the redeem menu, including an avatar change. If you know an avatar I have that you'd want to see me be, feel free. Click it. Spend points. I don't mind. I'm here to be an entertaining little puppet. Tonight we're hanging out in a stormy house. It's one of those places on VR chat that I've been in more than a few times, and, well, I find it relaxing. Strangely calming to be in an upstairs room while there's a storm going on. So, yay! Anyway, tonight I thought we'd start with a pretty fun topic. And I say fun in the sense that people seem to enjoy hearing about it more than it was exceptionally fun from my perspective. We'll talk about the beginnings of me, my childhood. I have talked about it before on my YouTube channel in the past, ages ago, in various videos, so if you've heard any of these stories, or if you've heard them in person, I apologize that you're hearing something again, but I do my best to at least make them fun. Hello, MatPat fan, welcome to the chaos. Please feel free to interrupt at any time, I will happily do so. Anyway, this house actually is part of what made me think about what I want to talk about to begin with, and that will be the house I grew up in. Because I did not grow up in a normal, newish house. Yeah, unfortunately. I didn't even grow up in a house built after the year 1900. In fact, we don't know exactly when our house had been originally built. At least my parents never told me the answer to this question. The only thing they ever told me was the addition was put on the house in the 1800s. I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania called Apollo. Unless you've known me and heard me talk about it before, you probably have never heard of this place. For good reason. It's not a place you'd actually want to go to. There's nothing there. There never was, and there's even less now. But it's a very old town in western Pennsylvania. And from a photo that is on display in the public library of the town from back when they would go up in a hot air balloon and take a photo of the town, and that was new technology at the time, our house is there. So it is at least that old. It was one of the first things constructed in Apollo. It was the original parsonage for the original church, which was effectively in the catty corner lot that is now a really, really rackety old looking house up by the corner of the first street and whatever that road is at the top of our street. Yes, I'm divulging the location of where my parents live. I don't think they're in that much danger. But yeah. So, we grew up in a house that was ancient. Built around a coal furnace, okay? Back at that time, you didn't have necessarily natural gas or electric or heating oil brought to your houses. No. Especially being in a town like the middle of Pennsylvania, Apollo, you had coal deliveries. So the house was literally built around a core coal furnace. The central pillar of this house is a coal furnace, which was about, I think it was about 15 feet square base in the basement. And you can see it as you go up through the house in the middle of all of the walls for all the rooms surrounding where the furnace is. Just this square of space taken away because that's where the furnace and chimney exist. One of the first things I know Dad did when they bought the house, he made a little wooden platform that he put over the coal chute on the outside of the house so people didn't fall in. Even by the time they bought the house in the late 70s, that furnace had no longer been part of the game. It had a wood furnace, which was actually pretty awesome. I'm going to give that points. We had a wood-burning furnace in our basement. And a gas furnace. All based around hot water heaters. So, primarily, if at all possible, we would use wood to heat the house during colder months. But that involved someone had to go downstairs, put wood in the furnace, and make sure that the fire was still working. Because it wasn't like an auto igniter or anything. You literally had to light the fire in the furnace, and it then worked with the circulation system that heated all the radiators. These parts of my childhood were fine. I actually enjoyed that. I liked the hot water radiators. They were really effective. I loved playing with the wood furnace whenever I was old enough to be allowed to touch it, because they were scared I was going to burn myself because parents. But that's not the only weird attribute. This house was built long before this fun function that we all seem to love nowadays called electricity. So this house, electricity was put into it when that was one of the newfangled things. I believe one of the original fuse boxes, and I do mean fuse boxes, is physically still located in the back room of the back hall, which was part of the addition we talked about that was built in the late 1800s. As far as I know, that's completely bypassed, but it was just in the wall, so Dad just kind of left it there. This is what you get for having a carpenter for a father who does his own work. Once things are good enough, construction is done. Does it work? Yes. Is it dangerous? Maybe a little. Good enough. So I believe when they bought the house, the main electrical box in the basement also was a fuse box with the little screw-in fuses that go pop and you have to actually replace. Fortunately, in this case, Dad is an electrician. That is actually what he went to college for, even though he decided in the end to be a carpenter. No judgment here. Good life choice. He actually was happy. He did what he wanted with his real life. But he got a college degree first, so yay. So he did rewire the fuse box to a breaker box. So we did have normal electricity, which I don't miss not having. That's a good thing. I'm happy about that too. And throughout... Oh wow, that actually scrolls things. Can you scroll back up? Yeah, no, maybe? There we go. Throughout my lifetime, he had slowly been going through the house, taking out old outlets and replacing them with grounded outlets. Sometimes he would leave the old outlet there and just put a new ground outlet nearby just because, maybe you can plug a lamp into there and it's okay, but if you want to plug anything important, pick one of the new outlets. And if you're really brave, you take one of those little 3-prong to 2-prong adapters, plug it in, and good luck! I think we all recognize those silly little devices for anyone that's ever lived in a place with older outlets. I had the smallest bedroom in the upstairs, which also had the second largest radiator in the entire house. Which means my bedroom was always hot. My parents questioned, why are you opening your window in the middle of December? And the answer to that was, it's too hot in here, I need to. I'm melting. And they go in the room and go, oh, it's hot in here. Why is it so hot in here? And I'd be like, big honking radiator in my room. So that's one thing I had to live with. Hot. We did have a big house, okay? It was not a small place, and they still have it. But I come from generations of hoarders, so most of those rooms were full of stuff, and still are. In fact, one of the rooms that was one of mine or my sister's bedrooms, depending on when you're considering the question here, is still very full of stuff, much of which is my sister's stuff, because, well, out of many of the times that movings happened, stuff got dropped off at the parents' house, and it stayed in a room that is full of stuff. Ironically, I think that bedroom that was my sister's originally and then turned into mine is the biggest of the bedrooms, and has 2 closets. But my parents had the other bedroom because better location. And don't blame them. one thing I know we will have to deal with in the next couple of decades is dealing with all of the stuff, because my parents are in their 70s, so not trying to be too morbid there, more of a, yeah, I have a 4-bedroom house that is gigantic, has a full basement, and a large 2-story garage now that is all full of things. That's my future problem. As I was growing up, very often Dad would find a project he would want to work on to upgrade parts of said house, which is actually nice. Not a problem with that. More of a Dad version of when it's upgraded and done often left most of us questioning, is it actually done? Currently one of the projects being the upstairs bathroom finally getting resorted. Let's just say the light fixture for the bathroom for the last 5 years now has been a power cord reaching out of the room to plug in a light in the room to make light in there, and the walls aren't finished, and I really hope he gets that done before they're gone, because we'll have to deal with that due to the weird real estate laws in the area where they live. I learned that when Grandma died, they had to do a lot of repairs to the house before they were allowed to be allowed to sell it. So, yeah. As we were growing up, little projects would be worked on here and there. The walls in almost all of the house are slat and plaster. Most of you have no idea what that means, but it is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of how you normally would get walls nowadays, which involves sheets of what people either call sheetrock or drywall, are screwed on to studs along the walls, and they're just hung up. They are a complete product. Yeah, they put paint on them. Bada bing, bada boom, you have a wall. This was built long before the invention of drywall. So almost every wall that Dad has not replaced is just these thin, tiny boards nailed onto the supporting studs, and then they get coated with plaster, and then that is smoothed off and then painted. From someone just walking into a room, you probably would never notice the difference from a slat and plaster wall over a drywall wall. But when you live in a house with slat and plaster walls that are way over 100 years old, you learn the interesting noises they can make. If you were to go up to one of said walls and just knock on it, just get a little tippity tap, you'll hear plaster falling down. Because they don't just, it's not just a coating on the outside, it kind of squishes through the wall, the slats as they put it in. So it kind of has a little bit of a mushroom effect on the backside, kind of running down a little bit. I've seen the backside of some of these walls, so that's how I know actually what it even looks like. And over the years, that part that's kind of just hanging out is less part of the world and more present. So, if you tap on the wall, chunks of the wall fall down through the wall down to question mark, question mark, question mark, depending on if that wall actually is a terminator at the bottom of it, or if it just goes to the basement, meaning You just made gravel go to the basement. And then you enter two small children who find things entertaining, like the tippity-tappity noise whenever you pound on the wall, and it makes little rocks fall, because that's fun, that made noise. So, yeah. I was a little terror by accident just because I had walls that made noise. Benoy. Well, it's close, not a Benoy. This would be a Hopkin Redux. But hello, Melody. Welcome to me discussing silly things. Like my childhood. So, one of the many projects that Dad was working on was the upstairs hall, putting wall up there. Which is awesome. He's redoing the walls, great. But he doesn't work on your schedule. He worked on Dad's schedule because he would normally work a lot of overtime, so he was tired. And not every weekend he'd feel like doing construction work after spending all week doing carpentry work. Again, as an adult now I can look back and say, this is understandable. I get a weekend where I need to mow the lawn, and I even look at it and go, I don't feel like it. And I have a desk job, and he worked in a carpentry workshop. Hi, Swiffy! Welcome to the chat! So, when he went to work on the upstairs hall, he brought home from work, I think it was about 7 or 8 big sheets of drywall. That's awesome. Great. And he brought them upstairs. Awesome. Doubly awesome. They're already up in the area where they need to be, next to the front hall. The problem is, his version of a nice, safe place to put these is not the same as my idea of a nice, safe place to store these. You see, straight up at the top of the stairs was my bedroom door. Because my bedroom was right at the top of the stairs, back corner of the house. So, Dad brought the drywall up the stairs. These, 10 or 12 foot long slabs of drywall, and they made it to the top of the stairs, all the way up, perfect, and through this open door, leaning up against this open door, meaning this door cannot shut. Guess what door that was? If you hadn't guessed, that's my door. So, my bedroom door is now pinned open by about 7 or 8 full-size slabs of drywall. I'm a kid who now no longer has the ability to make his room private. Period. I can't shut the door. And I am way too small and unmuscular enough to move said drywall anywhere. Not that I had anywhere to put it, because remember, this house is full of chunk. So there's nowhere else upstairs that is long enough to put said drywall. I'm pretty sure it was in that hallway blocking my door for years. And I could not shut my door. Including some of those years where a child is coming to age and learning what body parts do. I didn't have privacy for that. That was frustrating. After a long time, and me complaining to both Dad and Mom, we finally came to the agreement that we could clean up some of the chunk in the upstairs hall and be able to move the drywall from blocking my door to up against this could have been empty flat wall that was perfectly capable of supporting things until they're needed. That was successful long term. We were able to move the drywall and make it so my bedroom door would close. This made me a lot happier. But I do have other things that made life interesting besides large amounts of drywall. When I was first into this world, we had one bathroom in the upstairs at the opposite end of the hall from where my bedroom was. And there are 4 people in this house. 2 parents, mother and father, and myself and my older sister. You should have exploded your body and been noisy about it. Exploding. Well, I did. And then I got a talking to about first off, I needed to do that in a private place, and secondly, I replied with, I don't have a private place. You made my private place not a private place. Good gravy. Ugh. Our bathroom, one bathroom, definitely looked like it came out of the Forever and a Day ago. And I believe they still are using the same actual toilet that was there when I was a kid. It's just moved positions now. The small sink in the corner, again, was a mount-to-the-wall little sink, and it looked like a billion years old, from my perspective. We had a clawfoot tub in the bathroom. Many of you would say, oh, that's so pretty, that's awesome. I'm so excited. Why would you ever be mad about this? Okay. Now, one thing you can really enjoy about a bathtub is the fact that you can fill it up with water, sit in it, and be able to relax. This is not as easily done if the overflow drain to the bathtub is simply plumbed to a pipe that pours out on the floor. So you had to be careful to not fill the bathtub up to the point where you're going to make a mess, because it would actually just run down through the floor. Well, I wouldn't say it's a steel mill town, Swifty. Actually, more importantly, it was a chemical weapons factory town. Yeah, we didn't find that out until long after. Yeah, the Babcock and Wilcock building that was mid-downtown that is no longer there was definitely not a good place to be near. Yeah, that was right next door to Grandma's house. The chemical weapons factory was next to where Grandma lived. We never went into that facility, mind you. We're not stupid, because it was a factory and it was scary. Well, yes, I am good at making messes. But our bathroom also had an interesting feature in the wall. It was the old hot water tank was on the wall in the bathroom, because back in the billion years ago, you would often have a standalone hot water tank in your bathroom for your bathtub. And multiple times, this hot water tank, instead of being removed, even though it's completely detached from every bit of plumbing in the house, nothing is attached. It is just physically on the wall, taking up space. Instead of removing this abomination of pointlessness, it got painted. I know it was more than one time that it got painted, because when Dad finally removed it, and you saw the everlasting gobstopper of layers of paint that were now, where the edges of it were, and he was like, wow, that is a lot of layers of paint that went on this thing that no one ever was using. So, additionally, another little fun fact about said bathroom. The sink and the toilet were along the one wall. Hello, Raider Sonic! The plumbing was all on the wall where the toilet was. But the sink was in the other corner. So, what would a normal person do with that? Run the pipes through the wall? Or through the floor? No, that's silly. You run them along the baseboard. I'm not kidding. The hot and cold water pipes were just running along the baseboard. As opposed to actually being inside of the house, they were visibly in the house. This was another one of Dad's first fixes in the house. He took 2 large planks, nailed them together, and made kind of a shelf that was a little step that sat over top of the 2 pipes. Which is also now where the toilet paper would sit, extra shampoo and soap things would sit, reading material would sit for, well, helping you do things, you know, brown things, Reader's Digest and whatnot. And whatever other magazines Mom thought would be useful for that process. This is also where Mom ended up kidnapping my original Game Boy 2 and my copies of both Tetris and Dr. Mario. So my gray Game Boy brick got many an hour of use there by Mom. Something went beep. Let it go beep. Anyway, something went beep. Yay! Hopefully it was not important. Oh, here's something important. I make it happen. There we go. I'm getting company. There we go. Back to Sing Chat, so I don't miss any of you lovely beans. So when I did get a Game Boy as a kid, about 2 years after they came out, Mom procured it for more her use than mine, and I was mostly okay with this because I still got to play with my Game Boy and steal it whenever we're going on road trips. The memories. But anyway, the reason why I got on the whole bathroom jaunt was because we had 1 bathroom and bathtub and 4 bodies. This was not exactly a perfect situation. Also, that's a bathtub, not a shower. Not a shower bathtub, just a bathtub. So I grew up only thinking that's what normal people did, was take baths, not showers. I was probably about 10-ish. You can come on over. I was about 10-ish whenever Dad was working on the drainage in the bathroom, or in the basement, because there was a lot of puddling down there. And there's a little thing that'll make puddles right here next to me. Hello, sweetie. So Dad was putting drains in the basement. And while I was down there, he decided he wanted his own toilet. Well, being Dad and his level of completing things, he first cut some holes in the cement floor in the basement, which already had leaking from the walls anyway because it's a 100-something-year-old house, and the primary wall in the dirt side was river stone against uphill where water comes from, so we had water in the basement since day one. We put the drains in to help get rid of said water. So put the trenches in, put some PVC pipe, drains, the whole spiel, and kept going for a bit. I made a couple of other ports. He made a spot for a toilet. You're allowed to be late. You're never late. Anytime someone shows up, they're on time. When I bought my house, it came without a shower. I had to get it installed later on. Well, at least you had somewhere to take a bath, I hope. That your bathtub was functional. I know you had to have work on your bathroom a couple times while we've lived here, too. Oof. Wild's had some bathroom fun, too. So, in the basement, along the back wall where, parallel to the slop sink in the basement, everyone should know what a slop sink is by now. You probably have one in your basement or garage. And where the washer and dryer were in the basement, Dad just stuck a toilet in the floor, in the concrete, just against the wall. Put a toilet in. No curtain, no walls, toilet. And to make sure that his slippers didn't get dirty while he was sitting on it, he put 2 small planks of wood in front of it so he'd have someplace to put his feet. Not worrying about it getting wet from him making pee-pee out the toilet. More of the basement would get puddles. Hi, Celeria! It's lovely to see you too, Unicorn. I hope you're enjoying my babbling. And, not long after he installed said toilet of amazingness, he decided he would install a additional object down there that he saw that used to be a display item where he worked. And it was a shower stall, a standalone, stand-up shower stall. So he brought it home from work, probably paid little to nothing for it. Usually that's how Mr. Pekarski would work with him. He'd buy things that used to be displays, either for nothing or almost nothing, and the business was happy just to get the old display out of the room. So he got a shower. And just like the toilet, he put it there. In the basement. Installed the shower. It's at least got a door, okay, with frosty glass so you didn't see inside it. But yeah, just right next to Dad's toilet. Shower. In the basement. 2 floors below where everyone's bedrooms are and their clean clothes are, Dad installed a shower. Because Dad had a shower at a place where it would work. And until about 10 years ago, that was the only shower in the house. And we all used it. Never know when you're going to need a basement shower. You got that right. Now, growing up, after we had to set a downstairs toilet, my mother and sister basically just did not use it. I liked the fact that I had a toilet that my sister was not spending time near. She didn't like going in the basement, period. So, when I got home from school, I had a nice place to go and take the Browns to the Super Bowl. You know, bake a few brownies, fertilize the lawn, the usual. So that was actually nice for me. I was a dirty little boy, so I didn't care the fact that I was in the dirty basement making dirty brown stuff in a toilet. I was just happy I had privacy and no one was bothering me. It was always fun, though, the fact that anytime it would rain even a little bit, water would seep in through the walls, and you would have at least minimal puddles on all of the basement's concrete floors, which is why Dad never did finish the basement in the sense of putting carpet or additional walls or anything like that. So, yeah. At some point, I know he put a curtain up, not around the shower and the toilet and stuff, but along one of the side wall, because he'd replaced one of the windows in the basement that was no longer impossible to see through. So he put up a shower curtain on a bar to block people from being able to see in the alleyway windows. Yep. Fun construction. Funstrin. Now, I did mention my dad worked at a lumber mill, and we're going to end up down there in just a moment with the next part of this. One of the other fun parts of me as a child was I didn't get to have my own name. Many of you are going to immediately question what I mean by that. Part of my furry name, Cadpig Jr., is a poke at my own real existence. Because I'm not a junior. I'm a third. And you could just be a third and have the same first and last name, but oh no. My family thought it was important that all of us had the complete exact same name. So, I am a third. Not only that, I was born 2 days after Grandpa was born. So I don't even get my own birthday cake most of the time. I got a birthday cake that just had our first name on it that we had to share. And the party was always down at Grandma and Grandpa's house, not at our house. So I had to share a birthday party for me with Grandpa and Aunt Jane, because hers was later in the month, and I think someone else in the family was also March. Mostly I was a kid and kind of agitated that I had to share it, so, that's where that came down to. My birthday is 2 days after my mom's birthday. I'm sorry. That's never fun, I promise, I know. But because Grandpa got the name, he's first, so he has it. Dad doesn't have the name, but Dad happily had picked his own nickname. And he goes by Butch. And he owns that. He uses that most of the time. But at work, he would always be our name. He would always get to be Raymond. So, he got to be Raymond at work. Grandpa got to be Raymond all the time. But because I was a kid, and most of the time when I was around any family members, one of them was either Grandpa, Dad, or both. So, I didn't get to have my name. I have one unposted stuff 2 seconds ago. Okay. Thank you, Twitch, for the alert. I don't know what that means. Anyway. So, I had a nickname that I was given, not picked by me. It also starts with the letter C. If anyone utters it in this chat, I will be very grumpy at them. 2 days after my sister here. Yeah, I know. My love is also shares birthday month with all of both siblings. So, yay. Yes, We don't utter that C word. But, yes, I was stuck with that. Don't say one more letter, Swifty, or you get banned. Hey, sweetie, use your mod powers and make those letters go away, please. You can actually block his messages. Let me see, can I? Can I do it from in here? Mod menu. Mod menu. Mod view. There we go. And let's see. Grab that message. Come here. Alright. Where I block. Channel actions. No. That doesn't work. I'm not saying it. I will screw with that later, but please, pretty please, don't say that word or try and spell that word. I actually am very insulted when people try and use it. So pretty please do not do that. That does not make me happy. That's not funny. That's actually, I find it very offensive. So please don't do that. Ever. Perhaps I don't need to have that open. There we go. Back to regular view. Alright, that take me back to my channel only. Get out of this mod menu, there's too much extra stuff. Anywho, I had to deal with, not having my name, for, like, all of my childhood. And it was around 4th grade I decided I was at least going to try and take Raymond back in my life. So at school I went by Raymond finally. But my parents still call me the forbidden word. And I'm tolerant of that. Just because they're old and they aren't going to change their ways of what they want to call me. So, yeah. Whenever I would go visit Dad at work, thank you. When I go visit Dad at work, for some odd reason, Dad had a good job of remembering things for some reason. He didn't seem to remember our names very effectively. Keep in mind, I have the same name as him. Completely the same name. Mine just ends in a 3 instead of a JR. So, he would refer to myself as the boy, and my sister as the girl. He named us. We've been around for all of our lives with these names in the same house as him. And he refers to us as the boy, the girl. Yeah. So, that's how that worked. As we grew older, my sister and I decided to embrace this. And to each other, we refer to each other as the boy and the girl, because that was our other given names. So, whenever we're in a group of people now, it often confuses others when we would just look at each other and say, "Hey girl," or "Hey boy," and people would think I'm being insulting to my sister. They would think like I am just being degrading, referring to her as the girl. I am such a mean human, a mean adult male, referring to this adult female as the girl. And I said, yeah, that's her name, the girl. My name's the boy. Her name is the girl. This is what our father calls us. Therefore, that is our names. So, yes, we own it. We own the fact that our names are the boy and the girl. And when I write my mother an email, now that I'm married and there's now 2 boys in this house, I sign the emails from the boys. So, I fully embrace this. I am the boy, she is the girl, and I make dresses. And that's how life works. Not only do I make dresses, I exclusively make dresses for males, not females. So, yeah. And on the day of our wedding, I had not quite finished my wedding dress yet, and we ended up getting married in jeans and t-shirts in a park. I mentioned to my mother that I was sad that I did not get my wedding dress finished in time, but I also wouldn't have necessarily wanted to wear it out in the mud, and she's like, "You are still a boy. You do not wear a wedding dress." And that's the last time I've talked to my mother about one of my hobbies, which is making dresses. Mostly exclusively for me. 'Cause I like them. So, yes. Mom doesn't get to talk about my sewing hobby, even though she's the one who effectively taught me how to sew initially. So, yeah. She also is under the impression my favorite color is green. You can see all the green about my avatar. You can tell all the green that you see in all the outfits my fursuits wear. So you know how much I love the color green, okay? Keep note of how much I love green. You can see my completely green Hopkin Redux here that you are staring at. Totally green, 100% green. I mean, look, right there. You can see a little bit of green. Now, on the collar, I don't even know if I can change the gem on there, but it's green. There's green on me. Totally green. So this is all about the greenness. I am a totally green thing. Yeah. Yeah, was that convincing enough? Good, because she believes it still, I believe. I'm not going to burst her little bubble. At least till she's willing to accept it, we like the color green. I will say it was definitely interesting growing up in that small town of Apollo. We didn't have much in the local town itself. We had a high-end restaurant, a pinnacle of food, known as the Fox's Pizza. And if you've ever eaten it, in any of the areas where it actually exists, you'll understand my concept of I was often not sure if they bought pizza crust or if they just bought extra pizza boxes and cut circles out of them and put cheese and sauce on those. What are your favorite color? Make sure to get back, fix all the art I messed up. I love you, Melody. Bye, Wild. Have a good rest of your night. But we had a Fox's Pizza, which was the only delivery pizza when I was growing up. So if you actually wanted them to bring the food to your house, that's what you had to get. If you were at all smart, you went to either the pub or Mosey, the two bars down the street from us, and you ordered pizza there. Because those were actually decent. And I don't mean just like okay. I mean, from today's standards of looking back, yeah, those are actually were decent. Yeah, I know, Barnard. That's good. One of the other things that Apollo had the most of was churches in about equal quantity to the number of bars. Bye, Swifty. Have fun. So, if you were part of any of the churches, most of them would give you guilt for the fact that you would want to eat at one of the bars, which is where the best food in town was. Not gonna lie, we didn't get to eat at those places very much because we were part of one of the churches. So we would occasionally get takeout from the pub, but we would never be allowed to eat in the pub, for that would be frowned upon. Later as an adult, I ate in the pub a few times, and it's actually pretty nice to eat inside there. They have quite a large menu besides pizza, and the food was all really good. Aunt Sharon and Cousin Adrian always ate at the pub because, well, they didn't go to our church. So they were allowed to go do fun things. So yeah. Apollo had one bad pizza place. We had several bars. A lot of bars. At least two of which served good pizza. And had a very large dining room, which was really nice, honestly. We had a small grocery store down the street from my parents, a Ben Franklin. If any of you are old enough to know what a Ben Franklin is, hi, it's nice to meet someone else old as us. We had a Stop and Go, which was later turned to a Kogo's. That's a convenience store without a gas station attached to it. Because Apollo, and I don't know why. A few other little this and that stores in the downtown plaza. And it was quaint. But notice, I said there was the Ben Franklin. There was a small grocery store across the river, but literally just across the river, the bottom of the street. There was another grocery store, which was also the butcher shop. So we had a modest-sized grocery store and a small grocery store in a very short distance from our house. One of which is really good to get meat from, and yes, I still, when I'm in town, if possible, do pick up meat from there because, Nasser meat packing. Yum, yum, yum. Good meats. Notice I didn't say anything about a place to buy stuff elsewise. No Walmart, no Kmart. We had a Chinese restaurant. I will give that in biggest quotes ever. Chinese restaurant, which was run by a Korean family, and over half the food on the menu was actually Korean food, but they labeled themselves as a Chinese restaurant because this is a Dirtwater town. People don't know what Korean food is. Yeah. Also, looking back, that was pretty good Chinese food. And the Korean food. Everything I ate there was really good. I do kind of miss going down there. Chang's was really yummy. Hi, Autumn. You're being cute back there. So to get to a larger grocery store, the local Giant Eagle, or oh, you're running off? Oh, okay. To get to the larger grocery store or the Kmart, it was a 15-minute drive. So you had to go a good ways to get to anything relatively shoppable. And it wasn't even a very large Kmart, it was a pretty small Kmart. And like all Kmarts, pretty much it's gone now. We miss it. Apollo has one less thing in range. Well, I think I have actually lost the interest of everyone since pretty much everybody has left. I'm down to 2 people watching, and I think one of them is Autumn. So, yeah. Well, I guess I should wrap up then. I hope you've all enjoyed listening to me babble about my childhood. If you come back later and want to talk in my chat, please feel free to interrupt me at any time. I do always respond to chats. Anytime someone has something they want to talk about besides what I'm babbling about, I'd love to hear. So yes, come on in, talk about something, bother me. And if I actually know you and you're on VR chat, feel free to actually pop in. Make me boop, and I will let you come in as long as you're willing to behave. So, yeah, that's the thing. Alright, well, let's see who's on that I can send you all to enjoy yourselves with. Let's see. I can click back there. There we go. Who do I want to annoy today? Wow, I have a long list of people on. Holy jibbies. Everybody's streaming tonight. No wonder people disappeared from me. I haven't fed Lumi in a while. I'll send you guys over to him. He's a very good little fluff. Oh good, he's on the list. I don't even have to do the search thing. Boop. And before I do that...